buy and sell homes. A federal
Excellent. Looks like some people are trickling now. Give it a second here. Excellent. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you guys are from. Definitely let us know in the chat. We're kind of curious where you guys are at across the world. My name is Trenton Bodine. I'm going to be your host today for our webinar here with Box Brownie and Brad Filliponi. Want to welcome you guys to Immersive Listings, harnessing 360 virtual tours for maximum impact. And we're thrilled here to guide you guys through the innovative world of 360 World Tours. So strap in and let's get rolling here. Let us know where you're at in the chat. Let's take a look here. Once you guys are ready to let us know, well, great. And Brad, I'll kind of turn it over from you as well. And we can get kick started here with this Box Brownie presentation you have for us.
Thank you, Trenton. Hopefully you can see my screen okay at the moment.
Yes, I can.
Terrific. Well, look, thanks for having me, everybody. My name is Brad Filliponi. I'm from the company called boxbrownie.com. I'm here to talk about all things 360-degree virtual tours and how you can harness them, in your business for marketing, for maximum marketing impact. So a lot of people sort of will ask, what is a virtual tour? I know a lot of people have used them before. Obviously, some people haven't. Some people would have heard of them. But pretty much a 360 virtual tour is a virtual tour made up of several 360 photos. They pretty much provide like a nice walkthrough of the property. Unlike video, the viewer has more of an interactive experience where they actually control and they can explore what they want at their own pace. So really, like, they're not being controlled by a video of what to look at. Obviously, they can click on little red icons or clear icons and little hotspots, if you want to call it that way, and sort of jump from scene to scene, which is pretty cool. So they can look up, they can look down, and of course, they can look around any way they please. So very, very great way to showcase any property. So what is a 360 photo? It's a distorted panoramic image, and they're also known as an equirectangular image. And they're stitched together to provide like a full 360, photo of an area. Which is pretty cool. So a little bit about the history behind 360 photos. Obviously, a lot before we had 360 cameras. They were more panoramic photos. So they'd actually have it on a tripod and they'd almost shoot it, side by side, and then obviously stitch them together for the end product. So you can sort of see there's different contrasting and stuff on this technique. Much the old way of doing it. Obviously, panorama is made up of Greek words, pano, which means all, and harama, which means view. So this actual photo was taken in 1964 in Nashville, Tennessee, which is pretty cool. So, end users would have to literally take a photo on a tripod and just sort of angle it each way and then add them together. So it's come a long way since then. So why use virtual tours? Because buyers definitely want to see them. Like initially, virtual tours were thought to be just for the pandemic and used while lockdown. Agents and property managers really leaned on virtual tours and video during this time. Obviously, when open homes and property showings weren't allowed, so they've really, really stuck in there, of course, and really got their mark on the industry. Since then, obviously, they've proven their longevity. They can be reused, which is really great. And of course, virtual tours are very flexible when engaging buyers, tenants, or clients. NAR Home and Buyers Sellers Report states 39% of home buyers found virtual tours very expensive while using the internet to search for a home. So, who doesn't want to walk through a property before you call an agent? I know I'd love to do that. I know your clients are loving to do that. And of course, virtual tours, they're very, very simple to use.
Well, I think it's
Excuse
perfect,
me.
especially for if you're looking out of state or if, you're not able to go see the home and, maybe it's an investment. It's perfect for you guys to be able to, see it from your comfort of your own home. Maybe it's on your phone and still get a perfect understanding of what this houses looks like, even without actually being there.
100% trends, and and by having a virtual tour, it's going to help you build a connection with your buyers. And a lot of the time they are far away buyers. Buyers and tenants, they're usually busy trying to pack or even move possibly interstate or far away from the property. As you just said, the virtual tour, it can showcase a property anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It does open the listing to a wider pool of people as well. And as I said, that they could be interstate, they could even be international leads as well, which is really great. So virtual tours will always allow a property to be viewed from the comfort of someone's home, office, or literally anywhere, which is pretty cool. So I've used them as when I was a property photographer. Really, really great tool. So yeah, hopefully you're learning a bit from these slides. So but look, really quickly, there's been many case studies, finding virtual tours and, and how much they have a positive impact on listing price, selling price, and of course, time on market, which is always very, very important. Excuse me. It is 4:30 in the morning here in Australia, so if I sound a little bit slower, that is why, team. It is a little bit earlier here. So look, really quickly. So another thing too, virtual tours can help answer your buyers' questions. And you're probably thinking, what does that mean? So let's say, your buyers might be thinking, just from photos, they won't really know how an interior flows, or how spacious the rooms feel. Will their furniture fit? Virtual tours will get them to the next step towards seeing the property in person, or of course, fully committing to a sight unseen. Your leads are going to become much warmer, and they're really going to be interested in the property before they call you, which is probably the biggest thing. So anyone who reaches out is going to be very, very interested in the property. And of course, that is a huge time saver in itself. So think that you don't have to drive to the property. You could be 20 minutes or half an hour away. Then you've got to meet with the buyer or the tenant, which could be another 20 minutes or half an hour. And then you've got to drive to your next appointment, which could be obviously the same, 20 minutes or half an hour. So all up, that could be an hour and a half's worth of your day. If a buyer hasn't seen the virtual tour, they don't understand how the property flows. That's probably another aspect to think about as well with virtual tours, how it can actually save you time. You're equipping your buyers with what they need to make informed decisions about whether they'll take the next step and view the property in person, which always just means more qualified leads. So virtual tours will save you time during your day. They're very, very easy to shoot yourself. We will talk about this a little bit more later on. And then, yeah, so my next slide, team, is, what do you need to prepare before you do a photo shoot? So if you're shooting your own virtual tours, listen up. If you are thinking about shooting your own virtual tours, well, of course, listen up as well. So what you will need is a 360 camera. Obviously, 360 cameras are a specialty device in their own right, because of course they actually capture the whole room in 360. So you're not taking numerous photos like the old days, using and stitching them together. These cameras actually take an equirectangular image, which is full 360, and that's exactly how virtual tours are run from. So look, you can actually take a terrific shot, using lower cost equipment. So don't think everything has to be, very, very expensive. A really good virtual tour camera is going to cost you around, a starting price is around sort of $300 to $400 to give you an idea. Trizio Lite 2 are a great camera if you wanted to Google that team. They're on special at the moment on Alibaba. Really, really great camera, straight out of the box. You don't even really have to edit the images. The quality is that good. Yeah, and of course, but the best thing about virtual tours is you can use any camera. So if you do have one lying around that you may have bought during the pandemic, but like many agents got excited, never used it, sitting in the cupboard, why don't you rip it out and let's try and do a virtual tour on that. And of course, Box Brownie has lots of blogs on that, on how to use it. So if you go to our blog section, we have a full YouTube channel. It's pretty much A to Z on how to shoot property. But what's really cool is how they work. Every 360 camera comes with an app. So that's really what controls the camera. What's really cool is you can scan around the image and get live views of the virtual tour, things like that as well. So they're not as hard to do as what you might think.
When you
What
mentioned
you
it was
will
kind of a small investment as well, well, I mean, it might be a little bit larger for some people, but if you think about it, you're not just using it for that one property. You're going to be using it for all of the properties that you're going to be, listing over the next coming years. So it's a long-term investment that's going to really play out. And, to be able to have it for your use, it's not like you have to then hire someone to come in. They don't have to, coordinate that time, but you keep mentioning the timing part of it, and that's going to simplify everything that you have to do around the stuff so you can focus on selling real estate instead of, popping into homes that may or may not matter. You can then send it for people to just view it, on the go.
Yeah, definitely, Tristan. Trenton, sorry. Yeah, it's just they're just a great tool. Usually, your first one or two, shoots, let's call it, would pay the camera off, and then after that, it's really all cream. In Australia, the homeowners pay for the marketing, unlike the US. It's a little bit different. It's really going to give you an edge on your competition. If you're doing virtual tours and your competition's not, well, of course, you are a point of difference there straight away. They're just a great tool, team, and as we're going to talk about later on, you can create these from as little as $16, which is just so great, so great. Pardon me. So as much as a camera, you also need a monopod. You can use a tripod as well. But however, please note, monopods are pretty much created especially for virtual tours and 360 cameras. The reason is you might notice they've got a much more of a lower footprint in your shot. So in other words, if you use a tripod, you're going to see all the legs and some of the gimbals and the gizmos on top that sort of adjusts where the camera's sitting. You can actually see that in the shot. So if you don't have a monopod, you don't want to spend the extra money because you've got a tripod, your tripod can be used. Just when you view down, you're going to see little bits of the tripod if you don't edit it out. So yeah, we remove tripods and monopods under our standard 360 image enhancement edit, and that one is only $4 and back overnight to give you an idea. So last but not least, obviously a Box Brownie account is going to help. So you need a camera, you need a monopod or a tripod, And then of course you need a Box Brownie account. So of course it's free to sign up. There's no subscriptions. Everything's a la carte on our menu, and you'll have access to all of our affordable photo editing options in 360 and normal static photos. 360 image editing isn't really offered by other virtual tour companies around the world. Um, 360 photos are quite difficult to work on. They're large files. And of course, boxbrownie.com is a photo editing engine. So having our virtual tours really complements what we're doing. And it's a real point of difference as well. So if you want proper professional looking virtual tours, always enhance them. Every image you see that's shot by a professional has been photoshopped, if you want to call it that, or enhanced. So, realistically, why are your images any different when a photographer's doing it as well? So editing will really bring out the best in any image that's supplied. Okay, so let's sort of talk about, hosting platforms now in MLS. So of course you might want to, look at, choosing a platform if you don't use Box Brownie that provides options for creating a non-branded virtual tour, which of course is something we can assist with. But of course, check your local MLS rules, and obviously it varies from state to state and country to country, to be honest. So yeah, always important there. Always check your local laws. Um, so another thing I recommend too is opening doors, turn on lights, and turn off fans. I always recommend this, like especially opening doors. Let's start off with that, because obviously opening doors will give the viewers a sense of how the floor plan flows, and it also appears more lifelike, I feel. It's the best tip, I believe. Opening doors, it will make the room look a lot larger and less boxed in. And as I said, it shows the flow of the property. And what we do is, let's say on the image supplied now, we'd put a hotspot into that bedroom. So we're in that, let's call it the study area, the home office area. There'll be a dot on that next room, which will be the bedroom. You click on that, and then you transition from room to room. So by opening doors, it 100% just helps with the flow, and the transitions, and how it all works that way. So turning on lights, same thing. It just creates a nice, warm, and cozy environment. And I believe it's exactly why agents turn them on at home inspections. It just adds a lot more life to that scene, and it just makes you want to be there, and enjoying a nice glass of wine or something like that. So turn on lights, open doors, and of course the fans. The fans I usually always keep off. It limits all the motion blur in your images, which really it draws. I draw my eye to that. What really, it makes your image look much cleaner, and it also shows the fixtures that are actually being included in the sale, which is always important, I feel. So, a couple of tips there.
I
My
think those are
next
good
tip would
points because you create that homey feeling with the lights on. They can envision themselves there, where when the lights are off, it seems a little bit closed. Especially if there isn't any furniture or anything else in the area. That's where that helps with that. And I like your comment about turning off the fans as well, because one, you get a good view of what that fan is, and two, yes, my eyes as well will draw directly to that. Oh, it's blurry there. Oh, is that real? Like that kind of thing. So that kind of eliminates that.
Thanks, Trenton. Yeah, it's all the small things in real estate photography. All those little 1% add up. As they do in any industry. And it's the same here too. This next tip is ensure pets and people aren't home or in your shots, which is always important. Um, you can hide things behind a normal camera, but with 360, you see everything in the one shot. So there's so much to think about at times. So it's always best if your home sellers maybe duck out, lock the pets up. You don't want to accidentally, shoot anyone in the images. Peeking through the windows or doorways or something like that. And plus, it's going to make your life a lot easier when you're practicing and learning how to shoot your own virtual tours. There's a lot less stress. It's just you with the camera and the home. So, until they become like clockwork for you and super simple, which after you do a couple of these, they are really simple. It's best to just have the house yourself, take your time, When you know what you're doing, you can shoot a house in 15 minutes, 10, 15, 20 minutes, no dramas. Until you work up to that, just work solo, get it done, take your time, and just enjoy the process. It's actually really, really fun. If you do have something in the image that you don't want, of course, boxbrownie.com can remove anything in 360. So very, very important to know. Not really many, if any, virtual tour companies can provide the editing like Box Brownie does, especially at scale. Probably my next tip. Yeah. So my next tip's a bit of an easy one, Trenton. It's just clean up thoroughly. I always remember the motto, less is more. So virtual tour shows the house. So it's hard. So it's just, they'll show the whole house. So it's really hard to hide clutter and personal belongings. So it's always good to prepare for that. And as I said, we can remove items if we have to later on. But I always say it's best to get the property, have it presented, make it easier on yourself. That way when you go there and shoot it, you're just pointing and shooting. That's really it. The other tip we can give is get a floor plan redrawn. Box Brownie does that. You can submit a rough sketch, builder's plans, or even blueprints, and these can be redrawn. Something like this you're seeing here, I know just about anyone could draw the mud map on the left. Get a paper. Some people use laser measurers. Some people step it out. Give us a rough floor plan. We can redraw that. We can put a disclaimer on there if you are a bit worried. And something like this would cost you $28 for our color version, and you'll have that back overnight in 24 hours, guaranteed. Black and white starts at $24. Yeah, so pretty cool. Floor plans in Australia are pretty much on every listing. So in the US, I know it's a bit more of a growing trend now. But yeah, over here, floor plans everywhere. Once again, floor plans can save you time, because literally, like virtual tour, your prospective buyer or tenant has walked through the property literally before they've picked up the phone and called you. So they know the size, they know the flow, they know a lot more information about the property than just a couple of photos. So keep that in mind. Floor plans are really great. Of course, the floor plans go roughly here in the navigation menu on our virtual tours. Every one of those little hotspots you can click and literally pretty much teleport straight into that area, which is pretty cool. So a great way. It's just another way you can navigate through the virtual tour. Now let's talk about during the shoot and what to do. We're getting sort of right to the end of this talk fairly soon. So look, team, I always walk through the property first. So before you get your camera out, just go for a walk around the property. Almost imagine the shot, so you're getting a good idea of the flow. I usually start off at the front of the house and just work my way through front of the house, get a couple of angles if I need, go to the front door. Always get one of the hallway. We're going to talk about the hallway shots in a minute. Have all your doors open and just sort of like step by step and walk through the property. Of course, you want to ensure your monopod or tripod is as level as possible. Obviously, this prevents warping the images. Some monopods, tripod have a built-in level, which always helps. Of course, we can correct the orientation of your images, your 360 images in our image enhancement editing. This is another tip here, team. You always want to make sure your camera is in the center of the room. I sort of find that shooting everything at eye level, shoulder level is where you want to be, because that's how your buyers are walking through the property. So, I always try and keep it simple, nothing too low, nothing too silly high, just around eye level, shoulder level is great. And if you can't get your camera in the middle of the room, let's say there's a bed that's taking up, more of one side than the other, the idea is just to get it in the center of the room as possible, just so you're showing as much angle, front and back and side to sides, if that makes sense. And of course, be as thorough as possible. So I'm a big believer that, shoot more images when you're on site. Excuse me. Shoot more images when you're on site and then almost edit out the images you don't want afterwards. Once again, it's going to save you time driving back to the property for a shot that you might have missed. So I'm a big believer of, overshooting on site and then editing out later on. It's always better to shoot more than shoot less. So so Trenton, after you've done that, after you've taken the shots, here's what to do now. So it's a pretty simple process. It's pretty cool. So for the ultra professional look, always consider editing your photos. A lot of people don't, which means you can create a tour from literally $16 for 15 360 photos. So that includes hosting for a year. That includes Box Brownie actually creating the tour. Our photo editors create the tour. We were one of the first in the world to offer that. Depending on your camera, 360 images can be a bit grainy and dark. So pretty much if you want to shoot your property in the best light, always edit them. And it does start at $4. But as I said, a lot of people don't, and the tours can still look great. It just depends the look you're going for. So let's sort of show a couple of before and after images. Obviously, these are an equirectangular image. Obviously, but once these are in the tour, they are actually like a sphere, and you can sort of look up, look down, and look round and round. But here's our before and after. Something like this is just a $4 edit. We'll actually do 17 Photoshop tasks to that sort of edit, to get it looking its best. Enhancing color, saturation, sharpening the image. We'll replace the sky. We'll replace the grass. We'll replace the TV screen replacement. We'll even add a fire in the fireplace. 17 Photoshop tasks to make sure that this image is eye-catching and as professional as possible. A 360 tour is a great tool for capturing potential buyer and tenant's attention. And obviously they can, that tour can persuade them to make their next decision, which is so important. So always put your best foot forward, have the best marketing you can. And of course, by offering a virtual tour on top of photos, floor plan, drone photography, it's really, closing the whole loop of what buyers want to see. So these are all image enhancement edits. As you can see, the tripod's removed on this one. That's all covered under the image enhancement right on the floor there. You'll also notice too, there is a camera reflection in that mirror. That does get removed as well as the tripod.
I think these are small edits, but like huge edits, because from each one, I keep thinking when I see this darkness, I'm like, well, this just seems so dark and, dreary looking. And, it just seems like, oh, there's not much light that goes in there. And then I see these like the lit up ones, and it's like, oh, wow, there's like life in there. And it's like, okay, I could like see myself in there. So, it seems like a small edit, but from, the consumer standpoint, that's a huge edit, because it gives them a feeling or emotion of when they look at these images of, can they see themselves there, or do they think like, well, I want to pass on this property because it just doesn't get much light or something like that. So I think those are big, especially for the low cost that they are to get those edited.
Yeah, and I think obviously you don't want a property to feel dark and dingy. It needs to be light, bright, and nice and airy, and that's really what it does. 100%. It's just about, we're here about, box branding is all about ethical marketing. You want things to look as good as they do in real life, but you don't want things to look overly over the top or fake or anything like that.
Totally.
So I've got two more edits to talk about, then we're pretty much done. So I think I'm doing well for time. Thanks everyone for being here. I really appreciate it. Next step, of course, if you want to remove items, we can do that. There's a bit of work in, editing 360 photos, as I spoke about earlier. We can remove all different types of things in your photos, even things you have no control over. Item removal starts at $24 and ranges up to $32 per image. So you might have a car in the shot, let's just say like this. You have no control over that. Let's pretend this is a neighbor's car. Let's pretend this car doesn't start, but you really want to showcase that there's a parking space there. Of course, item removal is here to help you. We can remove just about anything from 360, and you're looking at a 24-hour turnaround time.
That's a good one there too, because sometimes, there's the buyers or the sellers that don't move their extra cars in the driveway, and it kind of hinders the ability to show like that front yard, or to show the front door or part of the garage. And like, that's to have these benefits here to be able to just remove that. It's awesome.
So finally, team, virtual staging. I was only asked yesterday morning here in Australia at a meeting I went to, can you enhance virtual tour 360 photos? And I said, yes, we can. Sorry, they asked if we can virtually stage them. So a lot of people don't realize this, but yes, we can. Like, according to realtor.com, a staging, a 2,000 square meter home will typically cost you around $2,000 to $2,400 per month. So that's a huge cost. With 360 virtual staging, it's only $48 per room or per photo. So you can save yourself a considerable amount of money. You can actually stage our 360 tours in different genres if you want. So literally you could do modern, farmhouse, Scandinavian, etc. So you can tailor for different market or different audiences you may be doing. But of course, it works the exact same way as standard virtual staging. You can view the property in 360, however. Unlike AI virtual staging, we can do multiple rooms of the same angle and have generic, looking furniture. So pretty much, each angle of the shot will look exactly the same with the same furniture, which is really, really great. Box Brandy, can actually measure ceiling heights, window frames, door frames in your images. That's how we get the scale right. A fun fact, boxbrandy.com actually processed the most virtual staging in the world, which is pretty awesome. So very proud to say that. We love this product. We think it's such a game changer. And of course, yes, you can do it for your 360 images. So really, really good to know. Virtual tour creation, I've got about a minute to go, so I'll breeze through this. Pardon me. So once you've got your images looking great, it's time to put them into a tour. It's really, really simple. So literally, we can put 15 360 photos into a virtual tour for only $16. And the best thing about our virtual tours is our editors create the tour for you. So you go on site, you shoot the photos, you upload the photos to the Box Brandy portal. You simply name the room. So let's say, main bedroom, bathroom, hallways. So as I said earlier, don't forget to shoot hallways. They actually help with the flow of your virtual tours. And then then you hit upload once you've named the rooms, and then our editors actually build the tour, send it back to you within 24 hours. And that virtual link, it can be text messaged, emailed, added to your real estate portals, and everything else in between. You can even create a QR code that links to your virtual tour, and you can put that in your flyer advertising, or even on maybe on your let's say on your for sale board out the front. So anyone can scan that QR code and open up a virtual tour on their phone and walk through the property. The technology is it's really, really great. The $16 for virtual tour creation includes 1 year's hosting. It's a really, really great tool. If you haven't tried it, please do. Team, that is it from me. Sorry, I was a bit croaky this morning. I could be coming down with something myself. It is it's now 5 o'clock here in Australia. There is my details, team. It is Wednesday morning here in Australia as well, so we are calling in from the future. But of course, my name is Brad Filliponi. I'm the co-founder of boxbrownie.com. My email is there, team. So take a photo of that. Brad at boxbrownie.com. Anything you need, I'm here to help. If people want to have some free training on virtual tours or anything other Box Brownie related, please flick me an email. I love talking to our clients. If you're not a user, scan that QR code. You'll get $20 credit. Trenton, I could talk about this for days, but mate, over to you because I know we're on a time frame.
Yes, well, I appreciate this, Brad. Everything was, phenomenal here. It was great to see that you guys can do the virtual staging within the 360 tours as well, especially with those edits that you were showing. We did drop in the chat as well, in addition to that QR code. If you wanted to sign up with that link, sign up today, receive 4 free edits plus $20 off your first product or project. Looks like Alana helped out Steven here with can you video chat with buyers while they're going through a tour. And she mentioned that the tours are hosted online, so you can share your screen on a Zoom. I think that's awesome. Brad, again, thank you very much for showing us and showcasing this. It was awesome. This will be available for to rewatch. It's recorded on LabCoat Agents on YouTube. And thank you again. This was awesome.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you, LabCoat family. Have a great day and happy virtual touring.
Awesome. See you guys.
Bye.